The kingdom of Israel was in turmoil. King David, once a shepherd boy chosen by God, faced a devastating rebellion. His own son, Absalom, sought to usurp the throne. This was no ordinary power struggle. It was a heart-wrenching betrayal that cut deep into David's soul. Absalom, driven by ambition and resentment, had turned the people against their king. He was aided by the cunning Ahithophel, a trusted advisor who had betrayed David. The once united kingdom was now bitterly divided, with father pitted against son, loyalty against treachery. Amidst this chaos, we encounter a cast of characters whose actions and motives would shape the course of events. There was Ziba, a servant caught in the crossfire, and Shimei, a man consumed by anger, and then there was Hushai, a loyal friend who risked everything for his king. These individuals, each with their own desires and fears, played crucial roles in this unfolding drama. Their stories, intertwined with David's plight, offer profound lessons about loyalty, betrayal, and the complexities of human nature. News of Absalom's rebellion spread like wildfire. The once peaceful streets of Jerusalem were now filled with murmurs and whispers, each carrying the weight of impending doom. The people who had once looked up to their king with unwavering faith now found themselves questioning the future of their beloved city. Fear gripped Jerusalem as the whispers of insurrection grew louder. The air was thick with tension, and the once vibrant markets were now shrouded in an eerie silence. Families huddled together, sharing their anxieties and fears, while the city's leaders debated their next move. David, realizing the gravity of the situation, chose a path of humility and retreat. He knew that a battle within the city walls would only lead to unnecessary bloodshed and suffering. The weight of his decision bore heavily on his shoulders, but he was determined to protect his people, even if it meant stepping down from his throne. He would not fight his own son, not in the streets of his beloved city. The memories of his reign, the victories, and the moments of peace flashed before his eyes. Jerusalem was more than just a city, it was a symbol of unity and faith. David could not bear to see it torn apart by civil war. With a heavy heart, David gathered his loyal followers and fled Jerusalem. The exodus was a somber affair, with each step echoing the sorrow and uncertainty that lay ahead. The loyalists, though heartbroken, stood by their king, ready to face whatever challenges the wilderness would bring. It was a painful exodus, a journey marked by uncertainty and danger. The harsh desert winds whipped against their faces, and the scorching sun beat down upon them. Every mile they covered seemed to stretch endlessly, and the once familiar landscapes of Jerusalem faded into distant memories. Every step away from the city was a step closer to the unknown, a plunge into the abyss of betrayal. The path ahead was fraught with peril, and the shadows of doubt loomed large. Yet amidst the uncertainty there was a glimmer of hope, a belief that this journey, though arduous, would lead to redemption. As David and his entourage made their way through the desolate wilderness, they carried with them the weight of their shattered kingdom. The burdens they bore were not just physical, but emotional, each step a reminder of the kingdom they had left behind. The once mighty king now walked as a humble servant, leading his people through the trials of the desert. The king, once a symbol of strength and unity, was now a fugitive in his own land. The crown that once adorned his head was now a distant memory, replaced by the harsh realities of exile. Yet even in his desolation there was a quiet strength, a resolve to face the challenges ahead. His heart ached with the pain of a father betrayed, a king dethroned. The memories of Absalom's childhood, the moments of joy and pride, now seemed like distant dreams. The betrayal cut deep, but David's love for his son remained, a painful reminder of the complexities of the human heart. Yet even in his darkest hour, David clung to his faith. The wilderness, with all its challenges, became a place of reflection and prayer. He sought solace in the divine, believing that his trials were part of a greater plan. The nights were long and filled with contemplation, but his faith remained unshaken. He knew that God was with him, even in the wilderness. The stars above, the vast expanse of the desert, all spoke of a higher power watching over him. David found strength in his belief, a guiding light in the darkest of times. The journey was far from over, but with faith as his compass, he was ready to face whatever lay ahead. He would face the trials ahead with courage and grace, trusting in the Lord's unwavering love. The path was uncertain, the challenges immense, but David's spirit remained unbroken. With each step, he reaffirmed his commitment to his people and his faith, ready to reclaim his destiny and restore the kingdom he loved. As David and his weary companions journeyed eastward, they encountered Ziba, the servant of Mephibosheth, Jonathan's son. The journey had been long and arduous, with the sun beating down on them relentlessly. The sight of Ziba standing by the roadside was both unexpected and intriguing.
"My lord, I bring provisions for you and your men. These are gifts to ease your burdens and sustain you through the trials ahead. Bread, raisins, wine, and summer fruit to sustain you on your journey. These are humble offerings, but they come from a place of deep respect and loyalty."
It was a welcome sight for the weary travelers. Their spirits lifted at the sight of the provisions, and they felt a renewed sense of hope. The journey had taken its toll, and this act of kindness was a much-needed respite. Ziba explained that Mephibosheth had chosen to remain in Jerusalem, hoping to capitalize on the chaos and reclaim his grandfather Saul's throne. He spoke with a tone of urgency, as if the news could not wait another moment.
Mephibosheth believes the house of Israel will restore to him the kingdom of his grandfather Saul. He sees this as his opportunity to rise to power amidst the turmoil.
This news struck David deeply. Could it be true? The thought of betrayal from someone he had shown such kindness to was almost too much to bear. David's mind raced with questions and doubts. Was Jonathan's son, whom David had shown such kindness, now plotting against him? The bond he had shared with Jonathan made this revelation even more painful. David's heart ached with the possibility of such treachery. Overcome with weariness and grief, David accepted Ziba's explanation without question. His judgment clouded by exhaustion, he chose to believe the words of the servant standing before him. He bestowed upon Ziba all of Mephibosheth's possessions, a reward for his supposed loyalty. The decision was made in haste, driven by a need to find some semblance of control in the chaos. Ziba, with a cunning smile hidden beneath a facade of concern, readily accepted the king's generosity. His eyes gleamed with a hidden agenda, a plan that had unfolded perfectly. But was Ziba's display of loyalty genuine? The question lingered in the air, a shadow of doubt that refused to dissipate. Or was it a calculated move, a shrewd manipulation of a vulnerable king? The layers of deception were thick, and the truth seemed just out of reach. The truth, as with many things in life, remained shrouded in ambiguity, a testament to the complexities of human nature. David's mind was a whirlwind of thoughts, each one more troubling than the last. The line between friend and foe had never been more blurred, and the path ahead was fraught with uncertainty. The road to safety was long and arduous. David and his loyal followers were weary, their feet sore from the relentless journey. The path was fraught with danger, and every step forward felt like a battle against the elements. As David and his men trudged onward, they encountered a man named Shimei, a Benjamite, and a relative of King Saul. Shimei's presence was unexpected, and his demeanor was anything but welcoming. Shimei, consumed by bitterness and resentment towards David, saw this as his opportunity for revenge. His heart was a cauldron of anger, boiling over with every thought of David's rise to power.
"You murderer, you usurper," Shimei's voice echoed through the hills, each word a dagger aimed at David's heart. "You are unworthy of the throne." His accusations were relentless, each one more venomous than the last.
From the hillside, Shimei hurled insults and curses at David, his words dripping with venom. The air was thick with tension, and every insult felt like a physical blow. He accused David of being a murderer, a usurper, a man unworthy of the throne. Shimei's words were not just accusations, they were a public condemnation of David's character and reign. Stones rained down on the king and his followers, a physical manifestation of Shimei's deep-seated hatred. Each stone was a symbol of the animosity that had festered for years.
"Take that, David, you deserve every bit of this." Shimei's voice was filled with a twisted sense of satisfaction, as if each insult and stone brought him closer to some form of twisted justice.
David's men, outraged by this display of disrespect, were ready to strike Shimei down. Their hands gripped their swords tightly, their eyes burning with the desire to defend their king's honor. But David, with remarkable restraint, stopped them. His voice was calm but firm. a testament to his inner strength and wisdom. David let him curse. His words were a mixture of sorrow and acceptance, a reflection of the heavy burden he carried as a leader. Perhaps God has allowed this humiliation as punishment for my past sins. David's introspection was a moment of profound humility, a recognition of his own flaws and the consequences of his actions. Shimei's actions, though reprehensible, served as a stark reminder of the consequences of David's past actions. They were a mirror reflecting the darker chapters of his life, chapters that could not be erased. They highlighted the lingering wounds of betrayal and the deep-seated animosity that still festered within his kingdom. The scene was a microcosm of the larger struggles that plagued David's reign, a reminder that the past was never truly behind him. David's men, though loyal, were conflicted. They respected their king's decision but struggled to understand his restraint. Their loyalty was unwavering, but their hearts were heavy with the desire for retribution. Shimei eventually retreated, his anger momentarily spent, but the impact of his words and actions lingered, a dark cloud over David and his men as they continued their journey. As they moved forward, David's thoughts were a whirlwind of reflection and resolve. He knew that leadership came with its trials, and this was yet another test of his character and faith. The sun began to set, casting a golden hue over the rugged landscape. It was a moment of quiet reflection for David, a chance to gather his strength for the challenges that lay ahead. His men followed, their loyalty unwavering despite the day's events. They were a testament to the bond that held them together, a bond forged through trials and tribulations. David's resolve was strengthened. He knew that the road ahead would be fraught with challenges, but he was determined to face them with the same strength and wisdom that had guided him thus far. And so, they continued their journey, each step a testament to their resilience and faith. The road was long, but their spirits were unbroken and their determination unwavering. The weight of betrayal pressed heavily upon David's heart. The curses of Shimei, the news of Mephibosheth's supposed treachery, the rebellion of his own son, it was almost too much to bear. David found himself in a desolate wilderness, surrounded by enemies, both real and perceived. Loneliness gnawed at him. He had lost his city, his throne, and now, it seemed, even the loyalty of those he had trusted. The pain of Absalom's rebellion was amplified by the suspicion that others close to him had also turned against him. Yet, amidst the despair, a glimmer of hope remained. David clung to his faith, finding solace in the knowledge that God was still with him. He poured out his heart to the Lord, seeking guidance and strength in this dark hour. David's resilience in the face of adversity is a testament to the human spirit's capacity for hope and forgiveness. Even in his darkest hour, he refused to succumb to despair, choosing instead to trust in God's unwavering love and justice.